Welcome to a new anime review series. This is the Tokyo Ghoul anime review, part 1. This one reviewing the very first season of the series, which is, from what I can tell, loosely adapted from the first 79 chapters of the manga, but I think it stops around 70, at least chapter 70-ish, because, well, the second season, I'm gonna get second season soon. From what I can tell, it's a what-if story from what I've heard. But yeah, this first season, I got to admit, this first season was really good. It's made by Studio Pair, which I think this is the third series. No, actually the fourth series, possibly the fifth series that I've seen made by Studio Parrot. Yeah, I mean the dubbing is done by Filmation. Yeah, it's done by Filmation. The same people who did stuff like DBZ, um, One Piece, stuff like that. I've seen a lot of Filmation dubs. That went along with Viz Media. Aside from this show, the only other shows I've seen that's made by Studio Parrot is the Naruto Next Generation, Naruto Shippuden, and Bleach. And that's it. Just these four series. Now, the thing with the cast of this show is that they're all basically regulars who are known for being Filmation. Of course, some of them, I looked them up. Some of these voice actors are noteworthy for working on also Attack on Titan as well, besides this series as well. hmm Yeah, there's there's one particular ghoul in here that as soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, no, that can't be true. This guy can't be him at all. It's if I can find him here, I'm trying to look him up here. He goes by the name Jason in the series, mainly because he kind of looks like Jason. But his voice sounds very familiar. I'm trying to look him up here because I know I've heard his voice before. Oh yeah, here we go. This is him right here, Yakumo Amori. Which when I heard this voice, I'm like, no, it can't be. It is. It's it's the guy who. Those of you who are DBZ fans, this is the guy who voices Piccolo and Vegeta, Chris Sabat. Yep, this very same guy voices this one character who only appears in this one season. Yep, he just appears in this one season. The main character is voiced by Austin Tyndall. Yes, he, as far as I can tell, aside from this, he was on. I've seen him in Attack on Titan, and that's it. That's really all this guy does. Yeah, that's the only other series I've seen him in. There's also Toka, and yeah, I've seen this woman's work before. Yep, she plays Tony Chopper from One Piece. Let's see, she played Juvia from Fairy Tail, and that's it. Well, actually, she also plays Puar from Dragon Ball Super. Shortly about a few series, basically, I've seen this woman in. Yep. There's one other guy in here, Mike something. I had to look this guy up. I know he does some. They list him off as an animation director. See if I can find him here. Uh, where are you? I think his name is like Mike Pedro. I think his name is. Yeah, they have him listed here as a um animation director. hmm Now, the opening song is a very soft song. It very somewhat depressing. It shows common visual. It shows visuals of characters of in the show. There's one character who's a gourmet eater. Yeah, if you wonder what the ghouls are, they are people who are you can kind of describe them as cannibals in a way because these people have to eat human flesh in order to survive. Yes, and a lot of them are pretty thin. Though in the case of the character Jason, who's like I said, voiced by Chris Saban, he's very bulky and wears a nice fancy suit. And the reason why it's explained in the show, the reason why he acts the way he does is because when he was in the custody of the there's this commission known as the I think it's known as the CCG. I think it's called. It's a commission for Counter Ghoul. Yeah, they're kind of like the FBI, but these guys they're kind of like monster hunters, and they hunt down ghouls with their these queen. I don't know these like big humongous batons, which some of whom are stolen from actual ghouls. The abilities. Yeah, and some of these ghouls, I don't remember these particular parts of the manga, but apparently these ghouls can actually shoot like kind of like stuff out of their back. Kind of like looks kind of gross, like kind of like centipede stuff or whatever. So one basically sprouts wings from her back. That's Toko. And now the pilot episode is pretty much a straight up adaptation of the first chapter. And for the most part, they do get kind of some stuff a little bit out of order here and there. I don't mind. I just wanted to see the flow of the story, and it doesn't really interrupt the flow of the story. If you're fans of manga, you may or may not like this, but animation wise, this show is fantastic. Now they do keep in here stuff like the fight between Toka and the investigator, the one who's actually kind of crazy. They excuse me. There's the battle at the 11th War that actually happens at the very end. Yeah, but it seems like they kind of adapt a lot of chapters per episode. And I tried to look up and see exactly how many chapters are per episode. The Tokyo Ghoul Wiki site does not give any information on how many chapters are adapted per episode. Several Wiki sites I've gone to have generally pretty much give me this information and see exactly how many chapters per episode they adapt. Here they don't. They do not. There is no information exactly what chapter this one is adapt, or in the case of the manga chapters, what their anime equivalent is. I don't know why. It's just that's just the way it is when it comes to this particular series. I've seen this for a couple other sites. I've seen this also for Bushido Kenshin, Bushido Rukin. Let's see. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. I've never really looked up the wiki site for Yu Hakusho. I have for Hunter x Hunter, but generally put why for Hunter x Hunter they adapt like 3 chapters an episode. That could explain why they copy the manga pretty quickly. Here, I'm not really sure exactly how much they do per episode, but for what I can tell, they loosely adapt from pretty much what I can tell the first 79 chapters in just 12 episodes. Yeah, I'm like, that's kind of quick. What do they do? Adapt like 10 chapters per episode, at least skip around? I'd have no idea because now Toriko, I'm planning on doing him soon, but I want to finish the manga first. Him, I can tell exactly. I looked it up and I look up to see how many chapters per episode. At least that can tell me something. Tokyo Ghoul, on the other hand, cannot tell me anything about it. Now, the series is done by, in case you're curious, the series was created by Shin. What's the guy's name? Try to look the guy up here. Shin Asada. Yeah, he is the writer and artist of the series. Yeah, and this is probably by far the only work he's ever actually done for manga wise because that's the only thing he does do is just this one series. And by far this is probably the second series I've watched in a row where you see characters, we see things eating people. Yeah, same thing happened to Attack on Titan, though in the case of that one it was giant creatures. This one it's like regular human sized people who eat people. Yeah. Now, when the season ends sort of on a cliffhanger when the main character of the series has his hair turned white, his eye pretty much becoming like you see on like a picture, is like becomes like black with like red. Though throughout most of the series he wears an eye patch just like he does in the manga, which I do appreciate them keeping that with him. And the fact the guy is tortured for at least for 3 straight episodes. Though you don't see us graphically, thank God for Studio Parrot not graphically showing us because that would have been kind of gross scene because it's implied what the character Jason does to the main character Ken. You know what he does? He takes these pliers and chops the guy's fingers and toes for days. But here's the thing: they grow back. Yep. Apparently, Ken has got a healing factor. It allows to grow stuff back that he has, which that's something. hmm Now, pretty much the stuff they do adapt, it's pretty accurate to how they picked in the manga. I mean, yeah, they don't use the honorifics. Of course, that's very common when they dub stuff like this. They don't use honorifics for characters. Like, I remember from the manga, Ken always called Torika, Torika-san. You called her that a lot, like a lot of the time in the manga. Now, one thing unique. Now, he along with her and one other guy who was his best friend's roommate. I'm trying to look at the guy's name, but he becomes like a waiter at the same coffee shop. hmm His name is if I can find his name. Let's see. I think his name is I think it's Nacho. I think his name is. Yeah, I think this is him. I'm not really sure. He he along with Ken and Torika basically have like close confidants. Basically, people are human, but they don't eat them because they choose not to. For Ken is his best friend because he's like the closest thing he has to family, because his parents have been dead for years, and his aunt doesn't give a crap out of him at all because his aunt has referenced the fact that he kept taking money from her a lot. For Torika, it's her best friend, and for the other guy, it's his girlfriend who does know that he's a ghoul. And one time he was like craving for, he was like doing mad craving for flesh, and for her devotion to him, she allowed him to bite a piece of her skin off as part of a devotion to him because she loved him so much. Like she doesn't care as long as as long as he doesn't eat her per se. Um, she's perfectly fine with it. That's basically how I can tell for the series. There's this one gourmet who is he's kind of crazy. When they first introduce him, it seems like he has a pretty decent conversation with Ken. Now they do have like a writer, excuse me, in the show who's kind of like a horror writer. I haven't seen him yet in the series, but she's going to show up next season as well. She writes these series of novels, which Ken, the woman who basically is kind of indirectly responsible for him becoming cool, and this little girl he becomes very close friends with, who, from when I looked up, basically, she looks up to him like a big brother. Yeah, it's kind of similar to how Wendy Marble from Fairy Tail looked up to Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tail. Yep, it's a similar relationship, which gotta praise him for doing that, because Ken, I think, is supposed to be about, I think he's supposed to be about 17 here. Yeah, 17, 18ish. He's basically a college student. That's basically what he is. They don't show his classes per se. They show his apartment briefly in the start of the series, when he tries to consume like this is like, of course, now when he meets this girl Renja, drop that gorgeous woman, purple hair, bit unusual to see, and for some people like see that this is not the first time I've seen where a character in anime has got purple hair. Anko from Naruto franchise, has got purple hair. I think Hanada, I think Tsutsumi from Bard, she's got purple hair. Not the first one I've seen, and she was kind of like the girl with the glasses type of thing. And she and Ken, though he goes by his last name in the series, probably because it's Japan. But yeah, he starts a relationship with her, and they go like on a date to a bookstore, which his best friend is like, that's not interesting. So then he takes her out to coffee, then takes her home because all the ghouls going on. And then she pretty much starts attacking him like right after she takes a bite out of his shoulder. One of two women in the whole season who actually does do that. The other, of course, is Torka, which I get to her in a minute. And then she attacks him. Then she gets crushed by beams, so he's rushed to the hospital. And they explain this a little bit later on, but the reason why he's a half ghoul is because this surgeon does this really off the books, like this really illegal surgery where he transfers Renja, I think her name was Regina, I think her name is. Let's see, okay, it's Rise Cosmigayo, I think that's how you pronounce her name, yeah. They transfer her organs into him, thus making him a half ghoul. And this is something I don't remember happening in the manga. Excuse me. But apparently, it's like because she's kind of part of him in a way. He hallucinates about this woman even after she disappeared. I'm not kidding. Though in the series of the actual series, she's not confirmed to be dead per se, but they never show her body. In the manga, she's alive because they find her in a tube and she gets rescued and she gets hauled off someplace else and has not been seen again. But yeah. But I got to praise Studio Parents for animating the scene where it's the incident at the construction site. Yeah, I'm glad the fact they animated that really well, and especially the final fight of the season. We have Ken take on Jason, and Ken wins, and then he devours him off screen. Yeah, it's kind of gross to see, but thank God for Parrot not showing it. But they actually have. This is not the first time I've seen it. I've seen it done for a couple of anime where they still have the regular show going on and the credits are rolling, which I'm like, dang. And this is something also that was really. I've only seen this in One Piece where they actually throw in. Excuse me, where they have the original opening theme for the show, where they have the opening theme and they actually play it at the end as part of like the closing of it, which it's actually pretty good. And I got to hand it to the anime. They did a really good job adapting manga for what they did so far for it. Okay, so that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for part two, which probably could be up later on today, maybe tomorrow at best. Just depends if I have time to, because I'm kind of busy tomorrow. Where I'll talk about season two, Tokyo Ghoul Route A. Yep, the the ultimate reality season. Yeah, I don't know why in the world they decided to do this for, but it seems like the most bizarre concept I've ever seen. I mean, couldn't they just, I don't know, continue adapting the manga instead of doing like a what if story? But you'll get my opinion on that when I get a chance to do part two, okay? But to see you in the next episode. Bye.